Love is the expression, acknowledgement, and healing from that separation the ego has so wounded all of us with in this physical world. Have you ever stopped to wonder why people want to become ultra rich? Or why so many hope one day to become the top dog in the corporate hierarchy? I pondered these types of desires a few mornings ago and was led to a very interesting conclusion. To obtain a sense of freedom within, not just any freedom, but specifically freedom from competition, to exit the rat race. And this freedom absolves one from feeling like they must still measure up or compare themselves to others. Because, hey, they're already on top. So yes, at times it takes on the theatrics of a power play. But again, what are power plays about? Squashing the competition and standing above others so as not to be answerable to anyone. And this is not a wholly modern or even American condition. Just look at history. Going all the way back to ancient times. Kings, emperors, rolling bands of vagabonds. It appears to be part of the human state. So, why do all of us feel we are in competition with everyone else? Why are we always comparing ourselves to others in a strange kind of mental disorder? Well, the only answer is the ego. The ego creates a sense of unique identity within the greater auspices of self. That uniqueness unfolds a sense of division, separateness, and it is at that point where we begin the competition. Separation creates the ability to judge, as we are able to perceive something as other than my egoic self, as you compare what is outside in contrast to what you perceive within the notion of your own personal identity. From judgment, competition naturally arises. In order to feel safe and secure for the limited perceived resources being sought after by all the others, whether those resources are physical, such as land, housing, food, or emotional, such as love, acceptance, and joy. This separation makes us lose sight of oneness, where oneself really isn't separate, but is simply playing a role and not really jockeying for some imaginary egoic position. Consider yourself like an organ in a much larger body. The body's organs are unique, yet work together in harmony without competition to produce the health of the body. We must come to consider ourselves in a similar way. We are acting as organs for the healthy functioning of the universe, or at least planet Earth. And remember, organs do not compete for supremacy. Rather, they contribute and give to the overall life of being. The only competition must exist within the self. To become the best of yourself, of who and what you are. In other words, it is ridiculous for the liver to compete with the spleen. Yet it would not be ridiculous for said liver to compete against itself to become the best liver it could be, as well as the spleen becoming the best it could be, each knowing the value they play in the overall body fitness. Therefore, we should stop trying to compete with other people jockeying for position and being better than others, etc., etc. That is all an illusion. We are here for the health and vitality of life, of the universe, like a singular organ in a much larger body. At what point in existence does competition disappear? When do we stop comparing and see ourselves in union? The answer is when we come from a place of love. Love doesn't recognize competition or one-upmanship. Quite the contrary. Love is about union, blending in joyous harmony, becoming one where the uniqueness of the other is celebrated and embraced, like the organs of the body working together in unison because they understand or accept the role and vitality of the other organs all working together. In this sense, everything is vital. Everything is worthy and of utmost importance. The health of the body breaks down when one of the organs loses its vitality. So too does society when one person attempts to deny the vitality of another or place themselves above the level of all others and their worth. It is really a conflict that begins with the clinging of self to the imaginary and false sense of separation created by the ego. And when we examine this under the microscope of history, it becomes apparent this is exactly what we must let go of, as all disagreements and wars revel around people's egos who have created a destructive streak of separation that invites death, upheaval, and ruinous discord with their perceived other. Steer away from the ego of separation, which grows judgment and competition, and instead move toward the ego of universal health, coming from a center of love and union with all things perceived as other, working together for ultimate health, instead of others needing to be squashed for supreme egoic identity. That's not going to amount to anything worthwhile. Of course, this will take time as we are dealing with deeply ingrained habits of thought. Consciously pay attention to your thinking and you will discover you often frame things in your mind as a competition between yourself and what's out there. You feel you have to fight for worthiness, validity, and a right to existence. When you discover these thoughts, stop them in their tracks. Train your brain to reframe so as to perceive your uniqueness, not as something to squash others in order to feel safe and secure, but as a vital organ in a much larger body of experience. That is, stop and say, it isn't a competition. I am not competing with anyone or anything outside of me because I am fulfilling a role and function of the universe, vital in purpose and being, something only I can do because of my uniqueness. That is why I exist. You do not have to compare yourself to others. You equally don't even need to know what your unique traits are or what you are supposed to be doing. Only that you are being you, whole, without separation or competition, and thus are naturally unfolding your own prized vitality, which is exactly what the universe is asking for in its overall health and existence. You are not an other that must compete for dominance and supremacy, thereby stepping out of the fray. There is no fray. You are an other that is a vital organ with other vital organs for the life of the one great universe. All are important. No one is greater than the other. They must all be praised as they all work together to express the vitality of the cosmos. Love is the expression, acknowledgement, and healing from that separation the ego has so wounded all of us with in this physical world.